Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to episode 28 of All the Mods 3 Extra Mode, where I am unreasonably confused why there are no lead blocks. Like, is there actually just not a lead block recipe? There's block of lead. I guess it only accepts nuclear craft lead to make it. Interesting. I'm like with things so pretty, except lead. There's no... Alright, whatever. Anyways, on to the actual thing today. I have become unreasonably fixated on getting these capacitors, the loot capacitors from Ender.io. They don't show up in JEI, but one second. Some of the astute-eyed among you notice that the loot capacitor actually is in the Nether Fortress loot table. And if I click here, it's a Nether Fortress and Igloo specifically. I don't know how to find igloos. So I'm going to go look for Nether Fortresses. Apparently they have a 33% chance to have one. And to help find the chests in the Nether Fortress, we're going to use our scanner trick again. This time, instead of setting, let's see, are any of these unused? I don't really need this scanner module anymore. I can just set this on chest. Here's a chest. So now when I put the scanner or the module in the scanner and pulse it, it highlights chests. Wow, would you look at that? So if I'm near a fortress, I can just use this to very easily find the chests in the fortress, and then we can use our storage scanner to pull the items out of the chest. Haha, I found our first one. Looks like that's it. Oh, any of these useful? Who knows, maybe, right? So this here looks like it's supposed to be some type of dungeon, except it almost seems like it spawns like inverted or something. Wait, is that a wither skeleton spawner? Oh, neat. As you can see, I've found a few more capacitors, but if this is a wither skeleton spawner, I'll take it. Haha. Anyways, there's a lot of chests here. I wonder what's in them. Let's find out. Hopefully these use, at a glance it doesn't look like there's anything useful in them. I was hoping they would use the Nether Fortress loot table being in the Nether, but nah, it doesn't look good. We got ender pearls, diamonds, gold, and golden apples. I'll eat those, sure, why not? Looks like there's a lot of chests in range of this, or in this fortress. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at the least. Come on, give me some good loot capacitors. You see 5 of them from here. Ooh, making off like a bandit. For some reason, I'm not sure if it's just pure luck or I've only gotten this type of capacitor. There's like 2 different graphical variants of it. The only difference is when combining them, you can only combine like with like. So it's good to only get one type. Ooh, fizz discount. Give me that. Could you not? Stupid bird. Let's explode already. Where are you? Am I getting hit by an invisible thing? I am, right? I hate this game. It truly is invisible. Alright, let's get out of here. Alright, about 15 minutes of searching has yielded this collection of capacitors. I have gotten some of the other artwork, so I guess both are available. But I don't think I can keep this up forever. For one, it's taking, we're getting less than 1 a minute, which is a lot of work for one item that might not even be good. And for 2, I'm bloating my world size, and it's going to become, multiple gigabytes if I keep this up. So let's start by taking what we found and analyzing them to see if they're any good. So if you look at their tooltips, they have a bunch of words in them. But we're interested in the stuff between the quotes. So it's like... Oh, I guess some of them don't have quotes, but you basically there's like flavor text and then there's actual text. So you look like this one. It's good, insatiable, nice smelting, nice explosive, good tight, enhanced capacitor. So I think what this means is that there's like prefixes, like all the good, nice, and then stuff like explosive or no, nice, good, nice. Enhance, whatever, those are prefixes, and then there's suffixes, which is like crushed, hot, and depending on that, it determines what machine it's good in. So like the prefix determines quality, the suffix determines machine. And then there's like in this one, there's the word wonder, which is like a global tier modifier. Basically, it's like reading a foreign language. However, I don't actually speak Ender IO loop capacitor language, so I don't know how to read this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to restart my game and install a mod that does know how to read this and displays it in English, because that is the language I do know how to read. This mod is a client-sided mod, so you can install it in basically any mod pack. Well, it'll work in basically any mod pack that has Ender IO, obviously. The downside is to install a client-sided mod, you have to reboot your client. So I will see you in 10 minutes when my client's done booting. Oh, I forgot to mention, the name of the mod is called Loop Capacitor Tooltips. And we're back. We made it through the load screen. So now when you have the Loop Capacitor Tooltips mod installed, you can see there are now numbers on your tooltips. Wow. So comparing these to capacitors, the basic capacitors, I believe it's 1.0, yeah, 1, 2, and 3 for the vanilla capacitors, like the non-loop ones. So you can see our best ones, well, the global level is the level in every machine, and then there's, some perform better in specific machines. But generally speaking, at least for me, I look at the global level unless, I'm trying to do something specific. So here, they go up to 3. But that's not the end of it. If we take these capacitors over to our anvil, we can actually combine them. So let's take I want one that ends in a good number. All right, so if you take a capacitor and combine it with any other, I think it's any other capacitor of the same art type anyways, you can increase the global level by 1. So you see this goes from 2.83 to 3.83. You also, I think, take the better of all the individual amounts, but here 3.83. Now you can do it again. That was really loud, wasn't it? 4.83. How many levels? 23. All right, let me make a experience pylon to hold my exp. All right, now with the experience obelisk, it's very easy to just take exactly how many levels you need to do these operations. So we see it also seems to upgrade. I guess it adds together 3.77 plus 2.43. I don't know how it gets combustion generator 5.1, but apparently it makes the combustion generator better. Whoopsies, I'm gonna need a new anvil, huh? I think at this point we can use the dark steel anvil so that it doesn't keep breaking on us. I've gone through a couple anvils already. All right. So there is a limitation to this. You can't keep going forever. And I believe that limitation is actually 6. Or is it 5? I guess it's 5. You can't upgrade the global level above 5, and I guess individual level? No, it can definitely go higher than that. I think the fact that the combustion generator got upgraded may be my limitation here. Let me play with these a bit more. But yeah, it seems like on this one anyways, I can't upgrade the global level any more than that. Maybe you can only upgrade them twice. In any event, 4.83 is already a lot better than the craftable capacitors we have, and we didn't even have to craft it. So let me see, what is the best one I have? 3.3? Let's try combining that with stuff. 10 level. Wait, that's still 3.3. Clearly, I don't understand this system quite as well as I thought I did. That's 4.3. Interesting. All right, here we go. So that 4.3, if I combine it with another capacitor, does it have to be... I guess it has to be a good capacitor. Not like good as in the keyword, but good as in a higher number. I can get it up to 5.3. And I believe that is as high as they go. Well, 6.0 is as high as they go, but since you can only upgrade in 1.0 increments, 5.3 is the highest we're going to get this to. Anyways, as you can see, if you have a large supply of loop capacitors to work with, you can make some really good Ender IO capacitors, and that makes for some really fast machines. However, we're going to need a lot of capacitors to pull this off, and searching through those nether fortresses isn't exactly a great option. Enter the Loonium. The Loonium generates mobs, I guess, that drop dungeon loot when you kill them. So I'm going to try to craft a couple of these, or I guess one of them, just to get started, and see how it works exactly, and see if we can get it to effectively drop loot capacitors for us. One Loonium coming right up. Crafting all these runes by hand is really annoying. I wish I had an AE system for it. Particularly annoying was that this rune of sloth required me to find these congealed slime blocks in the nether, and it took like 20 minutes of searching. Anyways, enough complaining. Let's get me a seed and craft this. So let's also read the book to see how exactly it works. Lexica Botania. It is functioning flora. Loonium. Let's see, there's a catch. Although alongside a monster will be spawned to protect it. And these monsters are stronger than usual and drop a random piece of dungeon loot when killed. Okay, I can work with that. So let's take advantage of all this mana we have here that I'm generally speaking not using. And we'll need... Oh, does it automatically pull mana from mana pools? I thought I had to shoot it with mana. I see. So, they're not dropping dungeon loot. Not crazy, right? That's not dungeon loot. I'm gonna kill a few more and see. Melons might be, I guess? No, I guess this stuff technically is dungeon loot, huh? Alright. It appears to use a tremendous amount of mana, by the way. Well, it definitely seems to drop dungeon loot, so let's see if we can automate this now. For one, it seems to link directly with one mana pool, so I don't want it to just, pull mana from a single pool, because then it's only getting fed by a single flower. If we place another mana pool, however, and a spark on it. Whoopsies, I'm out of sparks. We place a spark on it. This mana pool will pull mana from all of these, which means that now, it gets filled. For one, it gets filled a lot quicker, and we get to spread the load between all of our cake flowers. Next, when we place the Loonium down, I want to see the range it has. It's pretty big. I should have placed this mana pool a little further away. I guess I can just void a pool of mana. That's not a big deal, right? I guess I didn't need to avoid that mana pool. The mana pool doesn't necessarily have to be right next to the Loonium. But anyways, when you mouse over the Loonium with a Mana Seer monocle, you can see its working range. We just match that up with the working range of a mob crusher, and that will automatically kill the mobs. So I'll build a tiny wall around it and power our crusher, and then we can test it. Alright, a little wall made of glass just to discourage mobs from leaving the mob crusher's region. And there we go. Mana is being sent. I think we heard a mob spawn and die already. Alright, cool. Let's see, are we actually getting drops? We are. Now, I'm just gonna, for the time being, store these drops into a crate, I think. I'm gonna let this run for a little while we do something else. We can come back and see if we are getting loot capacitors. If not, then this system, is totally not worth it. I don't know which of the loot tables, like the chest loot tables, it pulls from, so it's entirely possible that it's incapable of producing capacitors. But we never know. If nothing else, it produces pizza. Much better food than the, what was I eating before? Bread, I think? This will actually, I don't have to eat like 7 pieces of bread to top my food bar off. While we wait on the Loonium to do its work, let's get back to our quests. We were working on making the machines needed to make HDPE. So let me walk through that entire process. To make HDPE, we need HDPE pellets in an enrichment chamber. So let's clear everything here. We'll start from scratch and, put our bookmarks back. All right, so we need at least an enrichment chamber, but we've already made one of those. To make pellets, we need a pressurized reaction chamber with substrate and ethylene and oxygen. Which one first? Let's do substrate. Substrate is hydrogen, water, and biofuel, I think is the route I usually go. That has a byproduct of also producing our ethylene. So hydrogen, we don't need to pin water. Biofuel, that's also in a pressurized reaction chamber. Biofuel comes from crushing basically anything living. So I have plenty of like carrots or whatever from some other source we can crush. But we do need a crusher for that. And water is trivial. Hydrogen, both hydrogen and oxygen come from electrolyzing water. So we need an electrolytic separator. So electrolytic separator, crusher, and 2 pressurized reaction chambers. I suspect that is exactly the set of machines I'm missing here. 2 pressurized reaction chambers. Oh, electrical separator and a rotary condensator. I see. At some point, I think I'm turning liquid to a gas, which is what the rotary condensator is for. Alrighty, here's all the machines and a quest complete. So now to put it all together into HDPE. Since this process isn't all linear, it's not like, you crush the ore and then you wash the ore and then you smelt the ore. It's tough to put it all in a line. So it's probably going to end up in some kind of jumbled looking mess. Also, personally, I prefer to use 2 water sources for our electrolytic separators. Basically have one producing oxygen and one producing hydrogen. And you could have one machine produce both, but then you have to deal with how do you avoid the excess. Basically, I don't know which one's going to be the bottleneck, and it's just easier to set up, I think, using one to provide each. Anyways, let me just jump right into it and build this system, and then I'll walk you through how it works at the end. Here's the first maybe half-ish of the setup, the production of substrate and ethylene. So here I have a electrolytic separator separating water into hydrogen and oxygen. I have it configured to dump the excess of oxygen. Basically, this one will, practically speaking, only be producing hydrogen. Then I have a crushing factory here, turning potatoes or whatever other plant I'm going to use in the long term into biofuel and sending it to the pressurized reaction chamber. The hardest part about getting these set up is all the sidedness of these machines. The pressurized or the electrical separator has fixed siding. It can't be changed. There's no UI for it here. It's always, it takes fluid in the front and exports the 2 gases, one on the left, one on the right, to match the UI. So hydrogen on the left, oxygen on the right. Can't change it, have to deal with it. These other machines, though, you can choose their sidedness in the UI here, which is, I prefer machines that, have this editable siding, but you can't always win. Anyways, now that we have substrate, the next step is to, I have to turn this ethylene into a liquid, or hold on, I think I need to turn it into a liquid, right? This is, with liquid ethylene. Okay. When transporting gases too, you have to use the mechanism pipes, the pressurized tubes. You can't use the endoryl conduits, and there is no gas conduit, unfortunately. I think that's added by the Energy mod, which isn't in this pack. So it's again, that makes the sidedness a little bit more annoying, because now I can't just extract the ethylene here from the same side that I would extract the substrate from. But oh well. And here's the entire system. Oh, we don't need this. All right, so going from where we left off before, making the substrate here. A rotary condensator turns the ethylene into liquid ethylene. I still don't understand why mechanism makes a distinction between gases and liquids when it's trivially easy to convert them. And gases are fluids too. In any event, then that puts both the liquid ethylene into the PRC, pressurized reaction chamber. The ethylene, or the substrate, comes from here. There's a mess of conduits. One limitation, again, of these machines is that they cannot insert and extract items the same side. So I'm inserting the crushed biofuel from the left and extracting the substrate from the top. Anyways, all that gets put in here. The oxygen comes from a second electrolytic separator. This one likewise dumps excess hydrogen, whereas this one, our first one, dumps all the oxygen. And that together makes our HDPE. Now, as a side product, it produces a little bit of oxygen. This is actually more bad than it is good, because that means that if this fills up, it'll actually cause the machine to stop running. Also, why is it not full power? Oh, I guess that's just its power buffer is the size of it. Okay, sure, whatever then. So we just need somewhere to sink this oxygen into, and my plan is just to, I think the mechanism gas tanks have a behavior where you can tell it to void excess. At least I hope it does. And that's what I'm going to do if it does. So all this side configuring is so annoying. All right, side configs, gases, eject the back. So that sends our oxygen into here. Well, it should. Oxygen. Gas none. Oh, of course, yep. Wait. Top is input? That's right. Do I have to configure you to auto eject? Gas is auto eject. There we go. The gas goes in here, and then I can set this to dumping excess. Cool. This entire system also only has a single input, and that is whatever plant we choose to crush. For now, I'm gonna just grab a bunch of our potatoes. I don't know if we only need like a little bit of HDPE. I don't need to hook this up to a farm or anything. Now, there's actually, we're not quite 100% done because eventually this liquid ethylene will back stuff. We actually have the issue where when we produce the substrate, right, 2 biofuel becomes 1 substrate and 100 ethylene, whereas when we consume the substrate, we actually only consume 50 of the ethylene. So we need to just make sure we can handle the overflow somehow. And that's as easy as just sending any excess to a trash can. So priority 1, we send the liquid ethylene, to the machine that uses it. But if that machine's full, we'll just void it. Cool. So now we have a fully automated system for producing. Well, I guess so far we're stopping at these HDPE pellets. Let me see. They can be turned into both sheets and rods. Oh, I guess they're also used in crafting. So I'm going to go ahead and leave them in pellet form. I think I'm just going to set up a large drawer to hold them, and then we can, when it's time to use them, we can convert them into the appropriate form. Thus ends adventures in HDPE. I think the quest specifically wants them in sheet form, so let's turn these into sheets. I think there's 2 ways to do it. You can either do it by hand, 8-to-1, or do it in an enrichment chamber, 3-to-1. So I don't know why you would ever not do them in an enrichment chamber. 3-to-1, so I guess 63-to-21. 20? I thought I get one more. Oh, they got spread out like that. I see. Don't do that. Bad. 21. Alright, quest complete. Next quest, I guess, is to make UU matter. So this is the, item form UU matter. That's from the, the classic form of industrial craft. But before we do that, let's take a quick look at our Loonium and see what it has spawned for us. I guess I forgot to collect the essence, so... But, oh boy. We have a lot of stuff. Alright. Do we see any loot capacitors, though? I do not, unless I'm blind. I stared at this for a good minute to make sure I wasn't, overlooking anything. But no, I'm 99.9% sure there are no capacitors in here. That's a shame. There are some useful things, like these are pretty good enchanted books. I guess that's really about it. I got 2 more pizzas, so pizzas are pretty rare. Besides that, most of this loot is just, practically speaking, junk. That's a shame. I'll let it run, fill up the crate, and then I'll probably just turn it off. It uses a lot of mana. As you can see, the 1 Loonium is able to use up all the mana that these 8 Kekimirases generate. And these, 8 of these generate a lot of mana. So, I guess I can try the thing where I plant them on overgrowth seeds to see if they, or overgrowth seeded dirt to see if they produce more mana. I've heard both ways, whether they produce more mana or if they just transport more mana. I guess we'll find out. Transmuted some more of these overgrowth seeds, which of course means I get these debuffs stuck on me until I relog. So does it only transform? It does. It only transforms a single piece of dirt. So I guess I have 6. I'll make 2 more later. But how can I tell at a glance whether or not they're operating faster? I guess if I get rid of this spark. How do I get rid of a spark? Get rid of the mana pool altogether. We'll wait a little while and see whether the mana pools that are, under the enchanted flowers, or powered by the enchanted flowers, have more mana than the ones that are powered by the normal flowers, I guess. And that'll be our test. Actually, it's only been like 30 seconds. I can tell it's much faster. This mana spreader is saturated, whereas this mana spreader is not. And just looking at our mana pools, it has more mana in it. It's not a big difference, but it's only been 30 seconds. So, I'll make 2 more or I guess I make them in batches of 3. I'll make 3 more overgrowth seeds so that we can power up all of our flowers, and then we'll have to upgrade our mana spreaders afterwards. Alright, all of our dirt has been upgraded to enchanted soil. Ooh. But now we have to upgrade our mana spreaders. So the next tier of mana spreader is the Gaia spreader. It looks like we still have Gaia spirits, right? Yeah, I have 16 from when I finally managed to kill the boss. Nice. So let's pick up these Elven spreaders and then upgrade them all to Gaia spreaders. And Gaia spreaders, I think, about twice as fast as... whatever, I'll aim them later. But they're about twice as fast as Elven mana spreaders, which means that the spreader should no longer be the bottleneck in our mana generation now. And indeed, that does appear to be the case. The mana spreaders are keeping up with our flowers, and our mana pools are filling very quickly. So each one of these can probably fill a mana pool in less than 15 minutes. So all 8 together can fill a pool in a couple of minutes. But I suspect the Loonium will still consume mana faster than all of these put together. Just goes to show how much mana the Loonium really consumes. And if ever you find that your extremely mana hungry Loonium is not mana hungry enough, you can even accelerate it to make it use up more mana. And when you accelerate it, the mana pool basically just vanishes in front of your eyes. Like, well, there goes all my mana. But it spawns a lot of mobs. Now that the overclocking has worn off on our Loonium, we can see that it is, even without any acceleration, faster than all of our mana generation. Oh well, I'm only going to run it for a little while longer until it fills up this crate, because honestly it is a great big waste of mana that produces just about nothing useful. I've also noticed that our cake to or our pumpkin to cake transmuter is a little slow now. I think because these are running twice as fast, they're eating twice as much cake, and thus we need more starlight to keep them, going at 100% uptime. But I'm not too worried about it. I'm just going to let there periodically not be enough cake for the flowers, and they're just going to have to suffer when it's daytime and our pumpkins transmute a little bit slowly. Anyways, the next quest is to start making UU matter. That takes a mass fabricator and a recycler, but this takes a tremendous amount of EU, of power. So I think let's leave this for tomorrow, because just building these machines, not all that bad. However, we're going to have to, rethink our power infrastructure a little bit to supply the mass fabricator with enough power to get this going. So, yeah, why don't we end here for today? We'll come back tomorrow with UU matter on our hands. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.